Good morning.
How's it going?
Well, afternoon over there, isn't it?
Yeah, the afternoon, but good morning is quite all right. I'm still drinking coffee, so
Oh,
I'm
got
with
you.
you.
Well, it's a brisk 7 a.m. here, so
It
we're
is
good to
a
go.
rainy 3 o'clock p.m. here.
There you go. There you go. Well, welcome to the show with the Everblack Podcast. My name is Luke. How are we?
I'm doing great, Luke. How you doing?
Yep, excellent, excellent. Whereabouts are you at the moment in the world?
Just south of Nashville.
Oh, nice. Is that
Yeah,
home?
yeah. We moved out here in August.
Oh, yeah. And what's it like
Yeah,
there?
it's beautiful. It's a lot slower paced than California. A lot prettier to look at. Currently, it is pouring rain. All last week, it was snowing into oblivion, and now it's just dumping rain.
Oh, there you go. And less
Nice.
less
I'm ready to
people
come to
around.
Australia. I'm ready to come to Australia for some nice weather.
Oh, yes, definitely. Well, it's been very, very hot here, so bring some shorts and some
Absolutely.
sunscreen. You'll be good to go. So you must be pumped coming back next month. We've got a few run of shows. Should be exciting.
For sure. Yeah, we're stoked, man. It's been way too long. I mean, for obvious reasons, but that were out of our control for a few years, but
Yep.
we're stoked. Very, very excited.
Yeah, because I think you were here last time right before it all hit, wasn't it? About 2019?
It was 2020,
2020, yeah,
and
just
I
before.
was telling someone this the other day where it was like we were like at the Perth airport flying home, and on the news it was like, oh, like first 3 cases of COVID have hit Melbourne, Australia, and we're like, glad we're getting out of here.
Yeah.
Like just so naive to the fact that we were just gonna implode.
Yep, yep. No, I remember it was the last show I saw live before it all hit, actually, because I saw he's in Brisbane with the Ocean Sleeper
Oh,
boys. So
yeah,
that was a good show.
it's awesome. Yeah, that was a good tour.
It was epic. Are shows like over in the States a bit, do they hit a bit different than Australia, or what's the main difference?
I would say that the shows in Australia hit a bit different than the States. I
Oh, yeah.
think Australia hits a bit different than anywhere, quite honestly. We've always had like the most like mad shows in Australia. Like people just have always gone fucking ballistic, more so than they do in other countries. Now, that's not to say that other countries don't come with it. I mean, we just did our UK Europe headliner at the end of this last year, and it was like for the first time in a long time, there was definitely some shows where it was like this feels like an early 2000s hardcore show for some reason again, like chaos. So I'm excited to get back to Australia and feel some of that.
Yeah, epic, epic. And you said Chaos. I actually remember Taste of Chaos, like 2008. You guys
Yeah,
supported Bullet and Avenged Sevenfold. That was huge. That
yeah,
was
that was massive.
that was a big show. How does it feel now, like headlining shows? Like, how does it make you feel seeing how far you've come?
I mean, it's been awesome, man. Like the fact that I talked to so many bands and artists that either like have been around a long time and they're like, oh yeah, man, like we've just never been to Australia. We've never been able to go, or like, oh, we went and like, oh, it's just kind of okay for us. The fact that we've been able to like continually come to Australia for our entire career and like kind of on every level has been amazing. So we're very, very fortunate for that.
Yeah, well, we love having you, that's for sure. And
Oh, yeah.
this tour coming up next month, without giving too much away, what can we expect? A bit of old stuff, bit of new stuff.
Fuck it. Let's just go through the whole set list. We're gonna
Okay,
start
mate.
with. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll get a pen. Hang on.
Yeah. No, I mean, we we've really kind of come to a point where we've kind of crafted a set that, in our eyes, is like perfect. It's like a bit of a best of set, but at the same time, there's like some curveballs still. But we've really listened to like the fans and like quite honestly like analytics. It's like we're in an era where you can look on an app and go, what are the top 20 Atreyu songs that people are listening to in this country? You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, it's very easy to be like, this is what they want to hear. You know what I mean? So it's like, we've tried to put a set together with that, and it really like kind of has some peaks and valleys, and like, it's really fun and interesting. And there's something for every fan. Cause I mean, our band is very strange and very like lucky thing where we have people that come to our shows that is like, oh, I've listened to you since Suicide Notes, and I kind of only care about the old shit, and I'm here hoping you'll play some of it. But there's also fans that are like, I heard Drowning, and that's how I learned about your band, and I just know the new stuff, and like your old stuff's cool too. Like, what's becoming the Bull? You know, like they're all in the same building, so like I feel like there's something there for everybody.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Bit of a mix is always
and
good.
yeah, it's a lot of fun too. Like we've been kind of, lucky enough to have been able to play some of the new stuff, and you always want to play a bunch of new songs, and like we found a way to kind of like throw a couple in, and then like throw a curveball mid set to kind of like leaves it up to the crowd. You know what I mean? So it's very interactive, and it's a good time for sure.
Yep, awesome, awesome. And for you personally, like, do you prefer now being front man compared to being back on the drums, how you were before with the lineup change, or?
I mean, yeah, man, I'm having so much fun. I think that fronting a band is a completely different beast of like, it's a whole different like ball of energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're so much closer to that front row, and you're so much more like just like connected to people, which is something that I didn't feel till, I was the front man in my other band, Hell or High Water, but with Atreyu, it's like, it's a different thing. So I'm having a lot of fun, and there might be time to time where I get to sneak behind the drums still, here and there, but it's been a lot of fun.
Yep, yep, yep.
I think
That's
I would say I prefer it. I prefer it up front.
prefer it up front. Yep, no, that's
My
good.
hands are definitely softer.
Not as much carpal tunnel.
No, not as much carpal tunnel, not as many calluses.
Yep. No, that's awesome. And I mean, I was going to go into that next, but you covered that with Hell or High Water. Like, did you do much touring with them back then?
We did in the States, yeah. We did like, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 kind of like major US tours. We did like a random show in like Norway or
Yep.
in Sweden. Um, so that was pretty much it. Mostly just in the States.
Yeah.
Never got an opportunity to take it international, but yeah, we did quite a bit of touring.
Yep. Epic.
It was
And
all really random. It was like we went on tour with like The Darkness, and then we went on tour with Stone Sour and In This Moment, and then we went on tour with like The Used, and it was like really random touring
bit
that
of
we
a
did.
mix of everyone there.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, it would have been great.
yeah. It's
Um,
fun.
you recently released the new album, The Beautiful Dark of Life. It's
Mhm.
trending very, very well.
Yeah,
Tell me a bit of how it came together, because it was kind of a staged process to get to the
yeah.
final album.
Well, it initially came from the desire to try and figure out a different method of release. Because as artists, it gets kind of annoying is not the right word. It's deeper than that. When you like put all your like blood, sweat, and tears and time and energy into 12 songs, and the 4 that the record label spends money on or have a music video or goes to radio get their day in the sun, and then the rest of them just kind of hide in the shadow of life. And you have 6 people throughout a tour calling out one of them from the back of the room. And it's like, man, like there's some of these songs, it's like we really just how do we get them their day in the sun, for all these songs, because we've never been a band that just puts out songs for the sake of it. It's like there's no like, oh, this one's okay, but we're still gonna release it. Like, we fucking love everything we put out. So it initially came from that, and then it was like, well, we just don't want to put out something with no theme. Like, there's gonna be a reason why. And then once we kind of honed into the title track with The Beautiful Dark of Life, everything started making sense kind of on its own, where it was like, oh, like this song is about the low, and this song's about the kind of like the path to glory, and then this song's like the aha, like high moment. And then it kept happening, and we're like, oh, what if like each one of these EPs was sort of that cycle of like that human condition of being at your absolute lowest in your darkest place, finding that kind of way out of the darkness, and then succeeding and being on a high and being where things are just great. So it made sense to us to be like, okay, this actually tells a cool story. And then it comes with the full album that you then get the title track, The Beautiful Dark of Life. You understand what the whole thing is about. Even lyrically, you have like the Easter eggs of like the EP titles like in the chorus and all that stuff. So it just kind of all kind of like made sense to us on its own. It was, which is so nice, because like when you're a band and you're like, well, how do we make this concept make sense? It's the worst thing ever, because it's like we're a band that just shoots from the hip. Like we don't really want to do that. So the fact that it kind of just presented itself to us was lovely.
Yeah, amazing. And was there any sort of main inspirations for it all, or just basically, yeah, sort of what you covered?
Well, I mean, obviously the feelings that are in the songs, like the emotions that are in the songs are very personal to us, and it's something that relates to everyone. Like everyone goes through the same sort of life cycles. But the title in itself was actually came from, at the time, was like my 5-year-old daughter. Strangely enough, we were like walking out of a restaurant and I had her on my shoulders, and she pointed at like the overhang at this building and was like, "What's that, Dad?" I'm like, "Oh, that's the shadow. Those are shadows." And she's like, "Shadows are the beautiful dark of life." And I'm like, "What?" Like single tear, type it in my phone because my 5-year-old's a poetic genius. And then like a year and a half later, we're in the studio writing a song, and it's like, and we need the one line in the chorus. Like, what's the payoff? And I'm like, I got something. Like, and of course it's that moment where you have to talk yourself into it for 5 minutes, that your brilliant idea you have is something that your 5-year-old said 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But the whole band like kind of jaw dropped, and it made sense. And it was like that lyric, that line is literally the premise for the whole thing. So things can come from the most beautiful places if you let them.
Yeah, definitely. And it'd be so cool, obviously, when they grow up and then you can turn around and say, well, look, this is because of you. This
Yeah,
is
she's
what you
like, "Where's my
created,
fucking
basically.
money, Dad? Where's my money, Dad?
Royalties.
Pay me."
It's awesome though. We have an Australian band over here called Young Lions, and I was talking to
Uh-huh.
the singer there for a little while, and same thing. He wanted an album cover, and he asked his son, "What should I call this?" Bam, came out with the it was like built to far out, forget the name. About putting a rainbow in the sky, basically, and he just went,
Yeah.
"Yes, that's it. That's going to be the name of it." So it's really cool to do,
Okay. Yeah,
to have
absolutely.
that inspiration.
Though then there's kids have such a like unobstructed innocence to them, where they'll just say things and you're like, you don't even understand how like prolific you're being. Like you don't understand how insanely like wonderful what you just said is. You know what I mean? Like they don't even get it yet.
Yeah,
It's wonderful.
that's it. And I
Yeah.
mean, you guys are putting out albums after albums. They're just incredible for me. Like as soon
Thank
as
you.
Baptized came out as well, like I've been from the start, but yeah, Baptized, when that came out with obviously the lineup change and that, it was awesome. I absolutely loved it. I don't want to go too much into, obviously, again, the lineup change with Alex leaving and that, but for you, how was the transition and just deciding this is how we're going to continue now, and this is what we're going to do, and how we're going to sound? Was it
Yeah.
just instant?
It was sort of a thing that, first of all, when everything happened, it was, I think a lot of the world just thinks that like I made a call and I did things, and that's why the band is the way they are. And I think a lot of people see me as this like overarching power figure that it doesn't actually exist in real life.
No.
Our band is very much a democracy, and everyone in our band is very, very much a brilliant mind in themselves, and like everyone has their part. And when we decided to make our separation, I boldly said, "Okay, well, who's gonna say, like, what are we doing?" I'm not gonna be the one that says I'm gonna sing in our band now. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not gonna be the one that jumps and like, if that's what you want, you guys come up with that and you let me know what you want to do. So it seemed obvious to everyone that my voice is already familiar. Everyone knows my voice. So rather than get someone else to come sing and have some other brand new thing that we have to try and get people to relate to, they have mine, they have me, and they have Porter. Quite obviously, Porter has been singing, screaming with Alex on our records since Death Grip. You know what I mean? So it was like, let's keep it familiar, whatever. And we had actually done some shows with the current lineup in 2019 in Europe, so we kind of knew that it worked live already and it was comfortable live. So I mean, obviously at first it's terrifying. You don't know what people are going to think, and there's a lot of people that that will go just pure negative because you're not what you used to be or what have you. And I think a lot of people like really wanted they really wanted drama and like to take sides, and like I think people really wanted to see like a fight, and like we're not about it. We're just about whatever happened in our own lives is our own personal thing, and we both kind of moved on and gone our own ways. And he's doing brilliant new music as well, and I think we're at the top of our game for what we're doing. And it's one of those things that at first was of course scary, but I think there was a confidence within our band that guided us through the transition. And I think from the first show, like the first tour we did back, it was like a headline tour in the States for Baptized. I think in our minds it was like, oh dude, we're crushing, like we got this. And I look back on that tour and you can still see that little bit of like, okay, we're still figuring it out. We're kind of a new band again, and then I think towards the middle of the Baptized cycle, it really like clicked. And we did like the Trinity of Terror tour, and we did like the Nothing More Asking Alexandria tour in the States. We went out with Bullet in UK, and it was like we were just firing on all cylinders. So I mean, it was I'll say an easy transition because the support system within the band is freaking like watertight. But it was definitely, definitely nerve-wracking at the beginning because now I'm the dude, like I'm the guy, and I have to convince you that you have to like me as the guy, and I don't have near the physique. but it's been really good, and it's been something we're really really enjoying our band more so than we have in a long time. So it's all panned out to be a beautiful thing.
Yeah, no, definitely, and it works. And I mean, it's great that you've came out of it on top. You're super talented, great vocalist, so it's really really good. So, and like, how does it make you feel just sort of having that? I guess your musical style and lyrics and the way you guys sound, have it resonate and connect with so many people for so long too. Like obviously, like you said, you've got the people who are against it, the people who are for the changes and that, but you've got the long time fans that have just been there from day dot. Just
it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I think when you're in a band, you don't think about, I'd love to make it to this milestone, right? Or this milestone. We have a pile of milestones at this point. And it's like the fact that it's still like a building, living, breathing organism that's like growing again somehow, it's like, it's a brilliant thing. And I think that's why there's such like a good energy surrounding us right now, is that like, we know, like it's not lost on us at all. And it's like, this is fucking cool. Like, I think we feel like, when you're a teenager and you get to go on tour for the first time and you're like, holy shit, this is fucking cool. Like, this is my job. We kind of all have that again, but we're like grown ass adults.
Just living in the past. It's all good.
No, it's fucking, but it's great though. It's a good feeling. Yeah. I mean, It's crazy. The fact that we can still, like I said, come to Australia after all these years and like fill rooms and people are singing all the songs back to us. Like there's nothing better than that.
Yeah, it's incredible. And just lastly, I mean, you guys have done a few collaborations with people in the past. Is there sort of an all-time person that you haven't, that Atreyu would love to do a collaboration with, alive or not? I'll put that out there. I
mean, obviously, like there's a number of like, of course, I would love to do a song with Freddie Mercury. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I think that like I'm just like a creative at heart. I'm a writer at heart, so I like love to get the opportunity to get into a room with the people that people might not expect. You know what I mean? It's not like, I would love to get in a room with Dave Grohl and write a ripper and just like feel that dude's energy and see what goes on in his head when he's writing a song. There's like, we've had a lot of fun with like the EDM world, the stuff we've done with Keizo and Adventure Club and Sullivan King and all that stuff. Like, that is a whole world that opened my eyes to the fact that like EDM shows go harder than metal shows, and the energy in that music is like fucked up. So like you put the two together and it's like it's insane. Like, we play that Keizo song Battle Drums in our set since it came out, and it was not a single, it was not touched, it just organically did this thing. And so like I would love to dig deeper into that world. I would love to do some cool stuff with like female artists. Like, there's a lot of like, it's funny, I want to do like things that people wouldn't expect. Like, I'd love to do a song with Demi Lovato, but one where she only screams.
Oh, nice.
Like, I'd love to do, songs like, even how we did the feature with Travis Barker, it was like, yeah, but do marching stuff because you don't do that on any songs. Like, just trying to, I love just collaborating and having people involved, but not how you'd expect them,
Yeah, well, hopefully we see some of that in the future then. Hit
Yeah,
Demi up.
yeah, definitely. Call me if you want to scream
That's
on a Atreyu song.
Well, Brandon, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. It's been a pleasure. We'll
Yeah,
have all the links below to the tour coming up in Feb. I'll be there front and center
perfect.
shooting. I do the photography for Everblack,
Oh,
so
yeah.
we'll see you there. You can strike a pose, say hi, flip me off, whatever you like.
I'll make sure I look
And
pretty for you.
that's it. But yeah, hopefully we'll catch up soon. And yeah, hopefully everything goes well and we'll see you then.
Yeah, I'll see you in Australia.